Greetings and salutations. You know what? It's Christmas time. There we go. Had to switch out my little Nightmare Before Christmas incense burner there. Anyways, greetings and salutations, everybody. I have a bit of a different one here because normally I try to stick to movies I enjoy and want to recommend fully, unless exploring or revisiting like a franchise or boxed set maybe, where there may be some entries that I don't really care for as much, but still want to go into some detail about whatever I did like about them. And, for this one, it's a little bit tricky because there's a lot of good stuff in this film, but some of it didn't quite sit right with me, and I was just wondering what everybody else thought. So anyways, for this entry, I'm speaking of It's a Wonderful Knife from 2023. This just came out about a week ago at the time of this video. So this entry is produced by RLJE Films, which is owned in part by AMC Networks, who's also the owner of Shudder as well. And they've made several films that I've seen and really enjoyed over the years, such as Odd Thomas, Burying the Ex, Mayhem, Mandy, Satanic Panic, which I just recently rewatched, Color Out of Space, PG Psycho Gorman, which I did a review for, as well as Suitable Flesh, which I just did a review for a couple weeks ago. And the film stars Jane Widdop, Joel McHale, and Justin Long. It also features Catherine Isabel, famous for the Ginger Snaps films, and Cassandra Nod, who I'm familiar with from another film I enjoyed a lot called Influencer. And anyways, what's this film about? Well, the synopsis is as follows. After saving her town from a psychotic killer, Winnie Carruthers' life is less than wonderful. When she wishes she'd never been born, she finds herself in a nightmare parallel universe without her. Things could be much, much worse. So I hadn't actually read that synopsis or seen a trailer before watching this one. I just saw the title and then it was a holiday slasher and I decided to check it out. So basically, as anybody actually paying attention better than I was when I read that title, it's a parody of sorts to It's a Wonderful Life, where we get this very fast intro, bringing us up to speed on this town, some of the characters, and then these murders take place. The slasher is defeated and unmasked, and then it flashes forward to like the year later aftermath. So this, the wish made by our lead, who after she defeated and unmasked the slasher is having a very rough time afterward as far as like how the town is kind of treating her, especially like family members of that slasher. She decides to make this wish that she'd never been born. And now we are in the same time frame, but it's as if she's never been born, so that means that the slasher wasn't defeated or unmasked. And during that year in this timeline, things have gotten much worse. People are continually being picked off like every week or two. Somebody's being taken out. The town's kind of falling apart in a way. So now she needs to find a way to prove who the killer is, defeat them, and maybe find a way to undo her wish in the first place. Now, of course, in that year, things also got a bit more complicated as far as the slasher and who's behind it. And us as viewers, we know who that slasher is the whole time. And so we know that they are either doing it or they are involved. But now, there are a lot of things that really do work well in this film. For one thing, it's very fast-paced. It's only about 90 minutes long. These kills are very sudden. They pop out of nowhere, so we get a little bit of jump scare, but not too much. The characters are relatively likable. I don't want them to die, so that makes it kind of scary when they're being attacked. And the setting and parody of this works really well. And of course, everybody did a great job, especially Justin Long. But some of it just didn't flow that well for me. There's some cliche stuff going on, which is fine since this is a parody, same thing with some of the humor as well. Most of the time I was kind of led to just, have fun, not take it too seriously. But then there would be these beats and moments which tried to throw something more serious or dramatic at me, which I just couldn't grab onto, and I found it a bit distracting. So I found myself thinking, they should really just stick with the parody side of it. Similar to the Amazon film Totally Killer, which I did a review of recently and will link to at the end, where they really tried to stay fun the whole time and continue to not take it too seriously. We still had stakes, but overall it was more lighthearted just throughout the entire thing, whereas in this one, they seem to go fast, light, silly, and then they'd throw something a little bit serious in there. So those serious bits kind of took me out of the fun aspect of it and kept kind of derailing little parts of it. But when I was checking out the cast on IMDb, just seeing, who I've recognized a lot of these people from, I saw that at the time it had a rating of about a 5 or a 5.5, which, I would agree with. It's a fun, mid-range holiday horror film. Nothing to write home about. But at the same time, I was seeing these posts on social media from, my little horror fam / mutant fam people whose, opinions I really value, and they simply love this film and are saying how it's going to be in their rotation every season to rewatch it. So maybe it's just me. Maybe I just should just give this one another try next year. Maybe do one of my little, second chance cinema things about it. But anyways, for It's a Wonderful Life, currently it's available on Shudder, as well as some paid rental services. So if it sounds intriguing, head on over to check it out. And thank you for checking out this entry. And especially if you have seen this film, what are your thoughts? Sound off in the comments. Did you really enjoy it? Was it mid-range for you, or did you really not take to it? Anyways, sound off, and thanks for coming by and sticking around to the end. And I will see you in the next one.